breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. P. Diddy got a win in court. Dude, Derek Cordello, he won a lawsuit for $100 million because Diddy didn't respond. He made some wild, actual allegations that y'all need to sit back and listen to. Watch this whole video. Subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel, Juanita Mecca Audio, Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories, and Mecca Audio TV. Let's get it popping, and don't forget the like button while the intro's playing. All right? All right, you know what it is, man. This one here is about Derek Cordello. This is matter of fact, I'm going to let Jesse break it down who this is, man.
He is an inmate currently incarcerated at the Ernst C. Brooks Correctional Facility out in Michigan. This is a guy who's been convicted multiple times for criminal sexual conduct and kidnapping. In fact, last year, Cordello Smith, if you really want to talk about how we know about him, he appeared last year on a judge's live stream from prison representing himself to explain that he wanted an injunction against Sean Diddy Combs.
Now, how are they going to let a man that's locked up for multiple SA charges file SA charges against another man when he's already serving time for that?
According to Cordello Smith, Combs owed him millions of dollars. So what he wanted was Combs to be prevented from selling his mansion out in Los Angeles because there might have been an alleged effort to hide or get rid of assets. But what's the connection between Cordello Smith and Sean Combs? Well, in court filings, Cordello Smith claims, he alleges, that Combs drugged and raped him at a party in the 1990s out in Detroit. And
could you believe this? A dude that's locked up for SA, that kidnapping and everything else, is saying that another man raped him. We're not even going to say it's Diddy, because when y'all hear Diddy, it's like gunshots, gunshots, gunshots. You know, come on, man. Could you believe it? Do you think this lawsuit should have even went this far? This man was granted $100 million. All right?
And he has even said that he has spoken with Sean Combs multiple times about a payout, even in person, which is something that Combs strongly denies. His attorneys later told the court, we don't even know who this guy is. But since Combs' team didn't respond to that lawsuit when it was filed, and Combs was allegedly served, the judge granted a default judgment in favor of Cordello Smith. And that meant Cordello Smith was apparently going to get $100 million.
Now, what was he going to spend $100 million when he's in jail on other than an attorney?
Default judgment is you don't respond, the court automatically rules in the opposing party's favor. So he's going to get $100 million. But, of course, what he would do with it from behind bars is unclear. But I will tell you, the victory didn't last long. Why? Because Combs' lawyer said, look, we didn't even know Combs had been sued, that we just heard about this default judgment in the media. So they immediately contacted the court to get things worked out, and that default judgment was revoked. And the case was also moved from state to federal court. Now, of course, during all this, Combs and his legal team, they are dealing with other major legal fights, including more than a dozen civil lawsuits accusing the disgraced music mogul of rape and assault.
Now, why he had to call him the disgraced movie star? Do y'all think Diddy's disgraced? Maybe he has a point.
As well as, of course, federal criminal charges that he's facing related to sex trafficking, racketeering. His trial currently scheduled for May of 2025. Now, Combs has always denied any and all alleged sexual misconduct and says he is looking forward to proving his innocence in court. Now, going back to Cordello Smith, the fight against Cordello Smith, this wouldn't be an easy one. He has become something of a serial filer of lawsuits and habeas corpus petitions and other filings in state and federal courts, most often representing himself. He's got these long legal filings, sometimes hundreds of pages long. They're full of citations and case law. I will tell you, though, Cordello Smith's personality certainly comes through in some of the language that he uses. He's also a big fan of run-on sentences. But anyway, Attorneys for Combs have called out Cardella Smith, specifically that his claims, they say, are wildly untrue. They say his allegations are baseless, that Combs has never met him, that what he's trying to do is extort millions of dollars from a man who's already facing a lot of legal trouble. So they asked the judge to throw this whole case out. And that is what happened. According to the judgment filed in the Eastern District of Michigan, the motion to dismiss was granted. Permission to file an interlocutory appeal was denied, and Combs' motion for sanctions against Cardella Smith was also denied. We're going to talk all about that, but I want to first look at the request for dismissal. So Combs' team says, look, even if this did happen, which they insist it didn't, this case is time barred. The statute of limitations has run out. According to the filing in 1997, when this alleged assault happened, the statute of limitations was 3 years to bring a claim. So the court ruled because plaintiff's claim is time barred, the court grants the motion to dismiss. And what about that interlocutory appeal? What is that, by the way? So that's basically an appeal of a judge's order about a specific issue while the main case is still going on. So you're appealing an issue while the case still proceeds, but if that issue is heard and decided by a higher court, it can definitely have an effect on the entirety of the case. So here, for example, with respect to an interlocutory appeal, it's about moving the case to state court from federal court. So as the court's order mentions, interlocutory appeals, they are, quote, granted sparingly and only in exceptional cases. But there's a bigger issue why an interlocutory appeal doesn't work here. The court writes, granting permission for an interlocutory appeal would not accelerate the conclusion of this litigation because this litigation has now reached a final conclusion. Accordingly, plaintiff's motion for permission to file an interlocutory appeal is denied.
Basically, Derek Cordello gets to file an appeal to the appellate court to have 3 judges decide if, the lower court that threw his motion out said that he can't appeal, can't do this, can't do that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's where we at. So you get it.
Basically, it's moot. It's over. There's no point of it. Then there's the third order on sanctions. So Combs' lawyers want Cardella Smith to be punished in some way for what they say amounts basically to harassment and extortion. We've talked about this before on other sidebars, that if you're a lawyer or, you're representing yourself, you can't file frivolous claims and frivolous complaints and frivolous motions. They have to be backed up by the facts, the law. They can't be done just to harass or intimidate anybody. Otherwise, you're going to get on the bad side of the court and you'll be punished. So Combs' team writes, defendant provides several grounds for his request. He alleges that plaintiff, again talking about Cardella Smith, that plaintiff's allegations are wholesale fabrications, plaintiff has forged documents, and plaintiff has filed meritless and duplicative documents. So part of those alleged wholesale fabrications are apparently fake documents. Yeah. Combs and his team say that Cardella Smith filed things with the court that were completely made up. And by the way, even though he's representing himself, he's not immune from sanctions or being punished by the court. You decide to represent yourself, you face the same consequences as any other attorney. So one of those filings, or fake filings, is from back in December. And in it, a person alleging to be Sean Combs seemingly admits to raping Cardella Smith and admits to pinning other rape cases on Cardella Smith and promises to pay the inmate $35 million. Wow, I can't believe that Sean Combs would admit to all this. My gosh. Well, I want to take a look at this document that was put together by Cardella Smith, which...
Now check this out. Cardella Smith put this document together and he's basically saying that Diddy agreed to arm him. Just listen to this crap.
The defense says is complete nonsense. Remember, this is supposed to be in Sean Combs' voice. It reads, I agree to the settlement offered to this plaintiff in the original amount of $35 million, and the only reason I am disclosing it is because plaintiff wanted it made public in order for me to not fight the case anymore and to remove any hint of denial of plaintiff's claim of sexual assault I did upon him and other measures that have been discussed throughout previous meetings at the facilities over the years when I met with plaintiff and my agents met with plaintiff at various prisons. So the man claiming to be Sean Combs then switches to all caps for some reason. Quote, Derek, you also must agree to not release the names and addresses of the properties where I stayed and where our parties happened, and at most importantly, Derek, you agree to not release the names and addresses of the people in Michigan who attended those parties, and you agree to not release the addresses of the recordings in Michigan that we did, and in return for your silence, I will notify Kim Worthy through my connections and Mark Agnifilo to get the ladies who lied on you and said that you raped them to come forward. By the way, little backstory here on...
Did you hear this? This dude actually forged a letter saying that Diddy agreed to paying him $35 million and then asked them to not reveal, names, addresses, where he lived. Like, this is all true. But if you look at the font on what was put up there, they was letting us use those in the prison, that type of font, 20 years ago. He's using prison font to say that Diddy don't have a real computer to be able to type up this letter on that he said Diddy typed up.
And what we're talking about. So Cardello Smith, as I mentioned, he's currently locked up. And he's locked up for sex crimes. He insists, though, that he's innocent, that the police set him up. He was convicted of 2 counts of third-degree sexual conduct in 1998, was eventually paroled. But when he got out, prosecutors say he committed more sexual offenses because he was convicted in 2008 on 6 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 2 counts of kidnapping. He ended up entering a plea of no contest in that case. And then in 2019, he was convicted again of 4 counts of first-degree sexual misconduct. So this alleged Diddy stipulation continues. Again, it's in all caps. And by the way, if this was really Sean Combs' writings, it appears like it's all handwritten. If Combs really did agree to this and write this, wouldn't it have been in the proper format and proper form? I don't know, something to think about. But anyway, it reads, and I will testify for you, again, this is supposed to be Sean Combs, and I will testify for you that you are in fact innocent of any crimes on them. And Derek, you have to agree to release the police report, because it implicates me that in that Tupac deal, and I'm already suffering in here and do not need that kind of pressure on me right now, okay? Wait, did he just say Tupac? We recently told you about this, that another criminal defendant, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, filed a motion to dismiss his murder case in Las Vegas court. Remember, he's accused of being complicit in the murder of Tupac. He says it was actually Sean Combs who ordered the hit on Tupac Shakur back in the 1990s.
As you see, anybody, listen, if right now, if somebody runs over somebody's precious dog or kitten, all they got to do is say that Diddy did it. And Diddy's in MDC, and they'll still believe that he did it while he's confined in MDC. Long as you say Diddy did it, you good. So Derek Cardello is saying Diddy did it, and Keefe D is saying Diddy did it. All right? I just want to know, did Diddy do it?
So the judge in that case actually denied the motion to dismiss, but Davis is on the record accusing Combs of putting out that hit. We actually did a whole sidebar episode on it. You can go check it out on our Long Crime YouTube page for a more deeper dive on that. But
do you think that's telling what Keefe D is doing? Being that Keefe D is supposed to be rooted in the underbelly world? Somebody put that in the comments. That's a good comment and conversation.
Again, so now you have Cardello Smith mentioning Tupac. Now, at the end of the document, the person, again, purporting to be Sean Combs, writes, I know Mark is going to come out and say that this is not a true document, but I have been working on this for days in code and everything to get it done because these N-words are watching me and I cannot have this be made public, so handle that, and when I get out, we will settle up. Just do not do another restraining order on me, okay? That effed me up royally.
Do y'all believe that Diddy would actually send a letter like this?
Okay, so first of all, correction. So if this really is Sean Combs, now I know why it's a handwritten note, and why he didn't formally write it up, or his lawyers didn't. So it's in secret. He's apparently writing it up while he's at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Okay, makes sense now. Sorry. By the way, Mark seemingly refers to Mark Agnifilo, the high-powered attorney that is representing Combs in federal court in his criminal case. Now, this document, by the way, is allegedly even notarized, but Sean Combs' legal team says that is a complete fiction. They say Combs never even wrote this, never said any of this. He allegedly doesn't even know who Cardello Smith was until this case was filed. But Cardello Smith says that Combs is the one who is a, quote, admitted liar, and that seems to be in reference to the aftermath of a lawsuit that was filed by Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, back in November of 2023. It's that bombshell suit that sort of got the ball rolling on all of the litigation and criminal charges that Combs is facing. She accused him, remember, of not only assaulting her, but also sex trafficking her and forcing her to participate in the so-called freak-offs at different locations with male sex workers. But Combs had settled that lawsuit the next day, continued to deny any wrongdoing, but then CNN released that leaked surveillance video of Cassie and Combs in a hotel hallway in Los Angeles, where Cassie claims that she was trying to leave a freak off, but Combs came running down the hallway in a towel, stopped her. He can be seen on camera hitting her, kicking her. It is extremely violent. And then after that video was released, Combs seemed to change his tune. He put out an apology video on Instagram, which has since been removed.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
So Cardelo Smith is saying that proves that Combs can't be trusted to tell the truth. First he says he did nothing wrong, and then he apologizes after the video came out. So the judge's order reads, plaintiff responds by alleging that defendant is an admitted liar who's attempting to retaliate against plaintiff. He also asserts that he's attempted to follow court rules and will comply with the court's orders. Plaintiff acknowledges that he is a restricted filer in the Western District of Michigan as a result of his habeas litigation there, meaning he was just filing so much stuff that didn't make sense. He had to be there had to be a restriction put on what he could file there.
All right, so let me explain that to you so you understand how this goes, right? They got what they call, right? Because, you know, we ride. You know, y'all like to ride, we ride. They got what they call a serial litigator. A serial litigator is like a serial killer, you know, continuously doing it. So being that Cardelo is filing so many motions, and he's filed motions 200 pages long. What are you writing, a book? Or you filing a motion, Mr. Cardelo? Somebody talk to this man. I just don't get it for the life of me.
But he asserts that he has complied with that court's orders and intends to continue doing so. He also denies that his past lawsuits were frivolous. He further denies that his lawsuits against defendant are duplicative or brought in bad faith. So will there be legal or monetary sanctions levied against Cardelo Smith like the defense wanted? Well, the order says, if the court could be confident that dismissal would deter plaintiff from further duplicative lawsuits or filings against defendant, then that would favor less restrictive sanctions or a warning. However, the court notes that despite the dismissal of plaintiff's other federal case against defendant, he has continued to file on that docket. The court is therefore concerned that plaintiff, when he is a losing party in a case, will resist being bound by the court's decision and will persist in duplicative or frivolous filings.
In other words, they anticipate him filing all types of appeals and motions and get backs, you know, at them denying, you know, his $100 million that he just knew he was going to get, because they let him lay on that for about, you know, a couple of months. So he just knew he was going to get this $100 million. He was celebrating in there. I mean, who knows how he was celebrating, but he was celebrating. All right. And then now they told him, you're not getting a dime. Ooh, how did Jay-Z say? You're not getting one red penny.
The court cautions plaintiff to refrain from duplicative, frivolous, or harassing filings, including the filing of additional lawsuits related to the allegations in this case or the filing of unnecessary papers on the dockets of cases that have been dismissed. Failure to heed this warning will result in significant pre-filing restrictions being placed on plaintiff. Defendant's motion for sanctions is denied. However, the court cautions plaintiff that it will impose appropriate sanctions if he disregards the court's warnings and admonitions in this order. So not entirely clear what that punishment will be. Maybe he'll just completely be restricted from making filings on his own. But this case was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it's dismissed permanently, can't be refiled. And we will see if Derek Cardelo Smith will choose to not file.
Now, so that's where we at. What do you think Derek Cardelo Smith is going to do? He's a serial litigator. See, y'all learn something. And let's not forget, rat bastards, please get off my channel. Don't buy my book. Don't have nothing to do with Unique Mecca Audio. We don't need you here. But now, you know, this is just to show you how anyone could sit there and just file anything or any motion accusing someone of anything they want. And I just don't get it. Do you think that he should be allowed to do this? Or do you think that he should still have his constitutional rights, even though he's been convicted and he's sentenced to decades for the same charges that he's accusing Diddy of? Plus, this dude got kidnapped. Y'all put it in the comments. Don't want to tell you, don't want to sway you. Let's keep it going. As I begun, please sign and follow and subscribe to my daughter's YouTube channel at Juanita Mecca Audio, and also subscribe at Unique Mecca Audio Prison Stories, and subscribe at Mecca Audio TV. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Let's get up out of here.
Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime. Fresh out the can of 26, yeah. He back on the strip, getting back in the mix. Yeah. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Real. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Yeah. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca Audio. Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was wine. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend an ear. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community ours, so we can give back to the. Cheers, cheers, toast the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.